I actually think it's a real mental health issue. And these people need to do some serious self help and, in some cases, actual therapy for how freaked out people get just because of a game. I, I do care way more about who you are as a person than any rank you ever hit in Wild Rift or any outplay that you have. Hey, friend, and welcome back to RGD Gaming, least toxic, most fun community in all of gaming. And I want to talk about something deep today. I want to talk about the mental health crisis that's playing out in real time, right in front of our eyes, as we play this game. Imagine for a second being at work or playing a pickup game of some sport. Something happens to one person and they get upset. And that person proceeds to yell uncontrollably at 4 to 9 other people and try to ruin the next 10 to 20 minutes of those people's day just because they're upset. Think about that for a second here. I was talking to a friend about raging, and an idea hit me. Gamers in general tend to be more antisocial, less confident, and I think they wrap themselves up into the games that they play. They wrap their lives up into it, and it's causing a pretty big problem, especially in Wild Rift. I'm just going to give you a little background on me. I played hockey as a kid and all different kinds of pickup sports, but specifically hockey as an organized sport. And video games were mostly a way just to be social. And there's a huge difference between what would happen if somebody threw a tantrum like they do in Wild Rift if you're playing hockey, or if you're in the workplace, and what happens in Wild Rift. If you're in hockey, organized hockey, and you throw this type of tantrum, you're probably going to get beat up and at worst ignored and at most likely ridiculed for acting like that and possibly kicked off the team if you keep it up as much as people seem to do in Wild Rift. And as I became an adult, I started a few different companies, and I would have never in 1,000 years hire somebody or work with another business owner that would throw a tantrum and try to ruin my day for 10, 20 minutes, sometimes multiple games, depending on how long you end up playing with somebody or how quickly they end up deciding to quit playing Wild Rift or you get matched up with them again. And people seem to wrap themselves up into Wild Rift and matches so much so that it causes them to just totally freak out when something doesn't go their way and they lose control of the situation. And ironically enough, Wild Rift is a game where you have very little control in certain instances. I mean, you can only control 1 of 9 players on the map. And so everybody else, you're just kind of hoping they do what you want. And people seem to take losing so personally, and it causes them to act out. Um, and these aren't children in general. I mean, I guess there's probably some young kids that play the game, but in general, like, I know my audience is not very big, but 18 to 35-year-olds, like 90% of them are 18 to 35. And so these are people in their 20s and 30s that are throwing these tantrums. I actually think it's a real mental health issue. And these people need to do some serious self-help and, in some cases, actual therapy for how freaked out people get just because of a game. It's actually sad to watch somebody in their 20s melt down over a video game. I mean, it's a meme online. There are clips of people freaking out over video games. Like, there's a clip of a guy who runs over his son's video games and the guy just loses his mind. Like, it's a kid, but at the same time, he's probably 18 or 19 years old. And that's what's happening in these Wild Rift games. And it's like, I don't know if I know exactly how to help somebody, but people need to start figuring something out, because just freaking out on a video game is not the way to live. Like, it's brutal to watch. Like, it's embarrassing in some ways, it's sad in some ways, and it can be frustrating too, because then we're stuck, the normal people on Wild Rift are stuck having to deal with these people because Riot either can't figure out how to ban them, doesn't want to, because maybe in some ways they're the best customers because they're obviously addicted to the game. Even though they seem to rage, they still want to play it all the time. And I don't know if it's, like I said, I'm not sure if they don't want to ban them or they just can't figure out how to differentiate between what's going on. And one of the reasons I started this channel was because I couldn't support people who acted like this. And I couldn't support content creators who treated their community like trash, or other content creators like trash and called them names. It just wasn't me, and I didn't want to support that anymore. I tend to believe that if you watch my videos, you're likely better adjusted than the average Wild Rift player, and I hope that's one of the things that my channels brings to the table. But I want to say that we all can be better, and even myself. There are times where I get upset or I get worked up because things aren't going my way. And I hope that you're on a journey with me, because one of the things that this channel and my life in general, I look at it as a journey where I'm constantly trying to improve and get better, not just at playing Wild Rift, but as a person. And this channel is part of that journey for me, and part of hopefully the journey for you. And I hope you're getting that from me, and especially some of my recent videos where I'm trying to open up a little bit more about who I am and what I actually care about, which is Wild Rift is, in general, and actually always, I think, secondary to who you are as a person and what is actually going on in your life. Because at the end of the day, Wild Rift is a video game, and life is just so much more important than a video game. Let me know your thoughts below. Like, comment below. I want to know, do you think, am I onto something? Am I way off base? Because at the end of the day, I do care way more about who you are as a person than any rank you ever hit in Wild Rift or any outplay that you have. Thanks for watching, and seriously, let me know your thoughts below.